You're standing in the store or scrolling the tab, and you run the check you always run. Can I afford it? You look at your balance. There's enough. The payment fits. Nothing bounces. So the answer comes back yes, and you buy it. And you feel fine. Because you did the responsible thing. You checked. Here's what nobody tells you. That question, the one that feels responsible, is the exact question that keeps most people exactly where they are. Forever. Because can I afford it has a secret. It's almost always yes. And a question that's almost always yes isn't a filter. It's a permission slip you hand yourself. Let me show you the trap hiding inside the most reasonable sounding sentence in your financial life. Start with what afford actually means to you versus what you think it means. You think I can afford it means this is a smart purchase. It doesn't. It means one thing and one thing only. The money will not bounce right now. That's it. That's the entire test. And that's a shockingly low bar. It won't bounce includes almost everything. It includes the thing you'll regret in a week. It includes the upgrade you didn't need. It includes the payment that fits this month but quietly commits your next 36 months. I can afford it doesn't ask whether it's worth it, whether it moves you forward, or what it costs you later. It only asks whether the transaction clears today. You've been using a word that means smart to describe a test that only checks possible. And it gets worse, because affording things scales with you, and that's the whole trap. When you were broke, can I afford it actually did some work? The answer was often no, so it filtered things out. It protected you. But as you earn more, the answer flips to yes more and more often. The raise comes, and suddenly you can afford the nicer apartment, the newer car, the better phone, the upgrade on everything. And every single one passes the test, because the test was only ever can the money clear. So you say yes, and yes, and yes responsibly, each time, and 6 months after the raise, you're somehow just as tight as before, wondering where it went. It didn't go anywhere dramatic. It went to 100 small purchases that all passed a test designed to approve them. That's why I can afford it is most dangerous exactly when you start doing well. When you were broke, it said no for you. The moment you have room, it becomes a yes machine, and a yes machine is not a financial strategy. It's how lifestyle quietly eats every raise you'll ever get for the rest of your life. Quick thing, because the next part is the fix, and it's one question that changes everything. If you've ever gotten a raise and somehow felt no richer, this channel is built for exactly that. Money Lens. Hit subscribe and stay to the end. The last 2 minutes are the part that actually sticks. So if can I afford it is the wrong question, what's the right one? There are actually 3, and they're the questions wealthy people ask automatically, not because they're smarter, but because somewhere along the way, they stopped using the yes machine. The first one, what is this replacing? Money you spend here is money not doing something else. Every purchase has an invisible twin, the thing that money would have become if you hadn't spent it. Not in a joyless way. Sometimes the answer is it's replacing nothing important. And this genuinely makes my life better, and then you buy it, guilt-free. But you asked. You saw the twin. Can I afford it never shows you the twin. It just shows you the balance and says go. The second question, will I care about this in a month? Most of what passes the affordability test evaporates almost immediately. Not the meaningful things, the impulse things. The upgrade you wanted intensely for about 3 days. There's a simple move that breaks the spell. On anything that isn't a true need, wait a week, sometimes less. The wanting has a shelf life, and it's shorter than you think. What survives the wait is usually worth buying. What doesn't survive it was never about the thing, it was about the feeling. And the feeling passed. The third, and the one that actually separates people, what does the money I don't spend get to do? This is the question the broke frame literally cannot see. When you don't spend, that money doesn't just sit there feeling like deprivation. It goes somewhere. It becomes options. It becomes the ability to say no to a job you hate. It becomes the reason a flat tire is a Tuesday and not a crisis. The dollar you didn't spend isn't a dollar you went without. It's a dollar that's still working for you, quietly, when you're not looking. Can I afford it only ever weighs the thing you'd get. It never once weighs the thing you'd keep. Now here's the part that reframes the whole thing. Being able to afford something and it being worth affording are two completely separate questions, and almost everyone collapses them into one. The wealthiest people you'll ever meet can afford enormous amounts of things they will never buy. Not because they're depriving themselves. Because I can afford it stopped being their test a long time ago. They upgraded the question. They ask what it replaces, whether it'll matter, what the unspent money could become, and most things simply don't survive those questions. So they pass on them, easily, without it feeling like sacrifice. Meanwhile, the person who runs everything through "can I afford it" buys constantly, feels responsible the entire time, and stays exactly where they are. Both people can afford the thing. Only one of them understood that "can afford" was never the point. So here's the actual shift, and it's small enough to start today. The next time you're about to buy something and you feel that "I can afford it" rise up, catch it. Notice that it's about to give you a yes. And then, just for a second, don't let it be the last question. Let it be the first. Okay, I can afford it. Now the real questions. What's this replacing? Will I care in a month? What could this money do if I didn't spend it here? Sometimes you'll still buy the thing and now you'll enjoy it more, because you chose it instead of being approved for it. And sometimes you'll set it down and feel something surprising, not deprivation, but a small, quiet click of control. The feeling of your money finally answering to you instead of the other way around. Because here's the truth underneath all of it. Almost everyone can afford almost everything, one purchase at a time. That was never the constraint. "Can I afford it" will keep saying yes right up until the day you retire with nothing, having afforded your whole life away, one perfectly reasonable purchase at a time. The people who build something didn't have a bigger yes. They just asked a better question. You can afford it. You almost always can. That was never going to be the thing that saved you. This is Money Lens. We show you what the money world doesn't say out loud.